Now, with these rather testing and uncertain times upon us right now, it is understandable to be losing, or to maybe have already lost, your training mojo and focus. After all, so many events and races have been cancelled or are going to be cancelled or even just postponed. So that race season that you have been training so hard for is now totally up in the air. So what do you do now? Well, rather than just packing it all in together, we've come up with a rather fun and alternative challenge here on GTN.
Yeah, so we thought that we would try and better our own 5-kilometre personal best in just 2 months. Anyway, we want you guys to come along for the ride. So we're going to be sharing our training and hopefully our progression too. And maybe that will inspire you guys to join us and aim for your own 5K personal best. We need a bit of motivation, and hopefully we're going to motivate you as we go as well.
And this is where things get interesting, because we will both be following polar opposite training methods.
So I'm going to be adopting the low intensity, high volume training method.
And I will be doing the low volume, high intensity method, all of which we'll be sharing as we go. But now, let's see what we have signed ourselves up for.
Okay, I probably should start by sharing my personal best with you, and it's currently a 17:55, and I say currently, it's from 2009, so 11 years ago. I think that's the only time I've actually gone under 18 minutes. I felt like it'd be more than that, but according to Power of 10, that is the only official time. Although right now I would dream of getting under 19 minutes. So yes, I have got my work cut out. I'm not exactly sure where I'm at, but I know it's not good. I'm not fit. Although saying that, I run 5K fairly regularly because I have 2 great local park runs and I love them for a Saturday morning. Good workout, although I usually do it as part of a longer run, so I have a good warm up and then do a run off the back, and sometimes even run it with my friend and make it social. There are a few steps involved as well. However, the quickest time I've managed that this year, I think, is just under 21 minutes. On the flat, I don't know what I'd be. We'll find out a bit later on, but it's fair to say I've got a lot of work to do. And the 5K is a really kind of tough distance, but in theory, it's one that I should be quite well suited to, because for modern pentathlon, I used to train for 3K, and now obviously I much prefer the longer distance. And I think it's going to be a shock to the system as to how fast 5K is going to feel. And actually, I lie, I did do a 5K time trial for the Zwift Academy not that long ago, and I think I was just over, but somewhere between 20 minutes and 21 minutes. So I'm probably less fit now. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of work and quite a lot of pain, I think, to get anywhere near a 17:55. But why not aim big?
Well, my 5K PB is actually 15:08, although unofficially, which I'm actually rather pleased about. So referring to online records, it actually states that my 5K PB is 15:17. So although I've gone under that a couple of times, clearly not on verified courses, which I'm rather glad about, because I'm not in particularly great shape, similarly to Heather. In fact, a 30-minute run once a week or once every 2 weeks has been quite big for me. So we thought we would show this progression and show you realistically where we are starting off from. We're going to get some benchmark times today. We're going to do a 5K time trial each to really get the scores on the door. But in light of the current crisis that we're all experiencing right now, we are training responsibly and we are taking this really seriously. Heather is fortunate enough to have a treadmill at her own home, so she's going to be performing hers indoors on the treadmill. I unfortunately do not have a treadmill in my house, but I am very fortunate enough to live in a rather rural setting. I have trails on my doorstep where I can pretty much guarantee I'm not going to bump into anyone. However, if I do, I will literally turn around and run the other way, and it's very safe underfoot, so hopefully I'm not going to go twisting my ankle. But before we do get stuck into that, let us explain our training methods in a little bit more detail.
So the high volume, low intensity is often considered quite an old school method, but it has been proven to work for world-class athletes in the past. So like the name on the tin suggests, I'm going to be gradually building up my distance and trying to have a consistently high volume. But I do just have 2 months to do that in. I'm not, however, going to be putting in very much when it comes to high intensity. The idea being that I'm going to be doing a lot of mileage in my legs, that's going to help with my fitness and improve my running efficiency, because I will be doing quite a lot of running tired. It's also going to take up quite a lot of time, and I think one of my biggest challenges is going to try to make sure that I stay injury free with this method. However, last year I did do quite a lot of high volume when I trained for an ultra marathon, so I'm hoping my legs are slightly prepared, or there's some sort of muscle memory going on.
Whereas my low volume, high intensity method is quite often regarded as a more efficient route to potentially the same result. Simply put, it requires less hours or less miles of running, but being more specific in each of those runs. Actually, quite often we'll see some intensity or some quality within each and every run, or at least most of those runs. And that can result in a similar or the same amount of stress as you would see in a high volume, low intensity method as Heather is doing. It's also been shown that my method, the low volume, high intensity, can get results quite quickly. But whether that will transfer to a quick 5K time in a couple of months' time, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, obviously, we have opted for polar opposite ends of the scale here, just for a bit of fun. In the elite world, you'll often see the elite runners opting for a mix of the two. They'll do a lot of high volume, high intensity, as well as also a lot of low intensity running, but they do obviously have a lot more time to play with. So without any further ado, I think it is time we cracked on and got our scores on the door. It is time for 5K TT time.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Trying to settle in. Already hard.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
1K to go. Drifted off pace a few seconds. There we go. 5K done. 16:55 from what I can see. Just dipped under 17, better than I was expecting, to be honest. I hope there's a lot that I can improve on there. That was tough. No idea how to pace that one. I think it's going to be a long walk home.
Well, I expected that to hurt, and it did, and I'm a bit of a sweaty beetroot mess after that. I'm glad it's over. Obviously with a treadmill, you kind of know what pace you're on for, and I knew that was not going to be anywhere near my personal best. That was okay, I've dealt with that. I actually did a 20 minutes, 16 seconds, which is about 30 seconds quicker than when I did the Zwift Tri Academy 5K, so I'll take that as a small win, even though that leaves me 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from my personal best. And yes, it hurt. My heart rate was in the 180s for the last 2K, and there wasn't much more left in the tank, so I've got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's more a matter of how far I can get in 2 months rather than can I actually run a new personal best. But maybe I'll carry on into the summer afterwards, we'll see. But I've definitely got my work cut out. I'm quite intrigued to see how Mark's got on, actually.
Well, that felt pretty tough from the get-go there. I did, however, manage a pretty respectable 16 minutes and 55 seconds. So I just dipped under that 17 mark. That does leave me with somewhere in the region of 1 minute and 40 seconds if I want to better my current 5K PB. So quite a bit, but I'm actually pretty pleased with that, given my current fitness level, the amount of training I've done today. Something I did notice whilst I was running, which is quite interesting, is just my legs really didn't feel that supple. They really didn't feel in control. So off the back of that, I've decided actually something I'm going to include into my training over the next couple of months is a bit more flexibility, mobility, and activation work on top of the running training.
And of course, please do join us, because this is what it's all about. We're hoping to get some motivation from you guys training with us, and hopefully we'll give you some motivation whilst we go along at the moment, because there's obviously no racing, so we need to think outside the box, and I think any goal is a good goal if you ask me. And yes, I'm really lucky that I've got a treadmill, so I can do quite a bit of my training indoors, but whatever you guys have, if you have a treadmill, then use that. If government guidelines do allow you to go outside, then just make sure you check those, but train wisely.
Yeah, and why not pick one of our training methods to follow? You've got Heather's high volume, low intensity method, and you've got my low volume, high intensity method. And to help you out, we've actually created a PDF of both Heather and my training plan. You can find that in the description below. Download that and you can follow it along nice and easily. And why not get in touch with Heather or myself over social media if you are doing it, and just let us know how you're getting on. Of course, this is just part one of a series of videos, so you will be able to track Heather and my progress as we go up to that 5K. But that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure you give this video a like, and why not follow us on our social media channels.